Hello there. In this video, I'm going to share with you my full comparison between TCS 5, TCS 1, and TCS 0. Yes, it's a Gran Turismo 7 full comparison of the traction control system. We're going to test FF, front wheel drive, FR, rear wheel drive, and all wheel drive. I'm also going to compare how the TCS works driving racing cars. I hope you enjoy this video from the beginning to the end and enjoy the video. Let's start the comparison right now. First, let's drive here the mighty 86. For me, the funniest car to drive in the game. I'm using first traction control number 1, and as you can see right there on the accelerator part, like the accelerator bar, like it flips, it doesn't like stay there all the way in. Is because the traction control is fighting my trigger, the trigger of the controller, and it avoids me to spin the car in a corner or just accelerating too hard in a straight. It cuts the acceleration. So basically that's what the traction control do. So let's see now what's the difference between traction control 1 and traction control 5. Then I'm gonna shut it down and traction control 0. Yes, on my first 2 laps, as you can see, I did 1 minute and 10 seconds. Now with traction control 5, we can feel that it's very difficult to rotate the car good during the corner. There's a good example of it. I try to exit as low, as smooth as possible, but I just can't. The car doesn't give me any power, and as you can see, my ghost is already leaving me behind. The more I press the accelerator, like the more the car fights with me, even in situations that I have like completely control over the car. Please look at the corner one more time. Like any flip on the acceleration, the car just fights against me, and it's not fun at all to play this game. I start to get stressed. I couldn't like do more than 1 lap with traction control 5 because it's so stressful. You want the car to do something, even the rotation is way worse with the car. You just cannot make the car rotate, and that's the result. 1 minute and 13 seconds. Now let's check without traction control. Let's see, I started the game again, and let's remember 1 minute and 10 seconds for traction control number 1. And I must admit, when I was playing, I was sweating. Yes, and my armpits was sweaty because it's like kind of nerve-wracking to drive without a traction control. Be honest with you, I'm not a pro player. I'm just a simple guy. That's the name, Gran Turismo. I just play Gran Turismo for fun. And I'm kind of like a lazy guy, so I want to use all I can to make me like drive better, faster, without having to practice like 10 hours a day, 5 hours a day. But let's go back to the comparison. As you can see, the car spins, but I can just correct it with my like lifting the throttle a little bit and with my direction. So turning the wheel just slightly, it's enough to control the car. Especially on the exit of the curves, the car slides a little bit the rear. I just straight the wheel, everything works just fine. Of course, we need to be honest here and understand that this is just a 200 bhp car, so it's not like a turbo like 300, 400, or even like a GR Group 4 or Group 3 car. So we're gonna test also the Group 3 car in the future, but as you can see, I already break my record in just 1 lap. Now that we study about the 86, let's see how the Megane and FF car handles, front wheel drive handles. Okay, I chose to drive in Maggiore because Maggiore is a different type of circuit with more like accented and difficult corners to master, but we can have more easy doing it because the FF or front wheel drive cars, they are more manageable, even though you turn off the traction control. And here is the proof. Let's drive first with traction control number 1. I did 4 laps with the traction control number 1. Now I changed the traction control before the lap, so I apologize for that. But as you can see, I could manage 143, 142. Now let's see my first lap doing without the traction control. Let's see the difference. Now let's corner. As you can see, I already gained 2 whole seconds doing it without traction control. And this is because the traction control kind of blocks my impairment and impairs me to rotate the car in the corners, especially with front wheel drive cars that tend to understeer. When the car starts to slide, the traction control cuts the acceleration. This makes even harder to straight the car, rotate the car, and control the car. So that's why I just got mad and changed it from the Megane to the GT Vision. Yeah, let's go to the GT Vision, and I just go all the way up with this beautiful engine. Just take a listen, just listen please, and enjoy this beautiful machine. Just going back a little bit, I just want to go back and talk about the Megane one more time to say that without traction control, FF cars can drive way better than with traction control. But let's see how a Group 3 car, that is the GT Vision from Mazda, do. The first corner, aggressive on the brakes, the car slides a little bit, but let's see what happens. As soon as the RPM goes above 8,000, I just lose the control of the car entirely, and I flip the car on the second lap. The first lap was 112, second lap 118, and now let's see without the traction, still without the traction control, what can I do doing my entire best. It's very hard. I fight with the car the entire way, the entire lap. I'm fighting with the car, and it's kind of impossible to make the car do what I want, especially with the controller, okay? So that's why we need to check now traction control number 1. Yes, traction control, sorry, my bad, was traction control 0, now it's traction control number 1. Let's see the results. Now coming up on the first lap of the traction control number 1, I already cut my time in 2 cents. Yes, just 2 cents, not too much, but I did it with ease, and I did it with full in control of the car. Especially now, just check the first corner, the difference between traction control without and with traction control. Boom. Easy to exit the corner, and I can accelerate sooner. That makes me way more capable of doing that. And after that, of course, I did I tried to do 2 laps with traction control number 5. My 5th lap was 120, and I tried to use again the same corner. Is just impossible. I rage quit, and I went to the next car, that is the Subaru WRX Group B rally car. And just to be honest here with you, I know that is a rally car, but I was offline because the servers went down, so I didn't have my cars with me. So that's why I'm putting racing tires in the WRX, but also the GT Vision car. And you're gonna see the difference between traction control number 1 on the WRX and traction control 0. This is very interesting. I wasn't expecting this. I hope you like it. But right on the first corner, the car rotates, slips, but due to the 4-wheel drive, the safety of it exits way better. But just pay attention to the next corner, okay? The car slides, I accelerate, the car cuts, and I can't straight the car. Why that happened? Just now take a look at 2 times with traction control with off, 0, I just straight the car easily, because when I have the power of the 4 wheels, I can straight the car easier than with traction control. Okay, the traction control cuts the acceleration, and that makes me rotate and crash into the wall. Let's see one more time. I slip the car, I accelerate, the car comes back, no problem at all. If I'm scared, I just remove my finger off the accelerator and the car just goes back to life straight up, no problem at all, and I break the record on my 5th time. To finish the day, I just drive the traction control number 5, but be honest with you, I don't want to travel to drive it never again in my life. It's just awful. The corners are awful, the control is awful. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Now let's go to the verdict. Let's see my final opinion on it. So, conclusion. Which traction control is better? Here I have to share with you my thoughts. Driving the cars for more than 1 hour, I could feel that the traction control 1 is the most reliable one. Yes, I would use my traction control 1 to online races and races where I really need to have a reliable car, not just a fast car, but a reliable car. And for maybe qualification times or time trials, no, 0 traction control is better than traction control number 1. The problem with it is because although you can go faster, unfortunately sometimes, especially using the controller, I did a video using only the controller, is way harder to correct the car, especially like GT3 cars, GT4 cars, where the power is way bigger than the I can handle with my simple controller. I hope you enjoyed this full comparison. Feel free to give your like and subscribe, because on this channel I'm also documenting my journey through Gran Turismo, and I'm gonna share with you everything that I learned along the way. See you on the next video. Bye bye.